Hey guys, what's up? This is Rosé, and currently I am on set for a photo shoot that I have planned, so look out for that. I thought I'd come today just to kind of go on a little bit of a rant, kind of something that's been on my mind, and I'm sure a lot of you, especially aspiring artists and just creative individuals and people putting yourselves out there, can relate to, just in regards to staying authentic to who you are, especially in during like with your artistry, while also not burning out despite the pressure that a 9 to 5 and just the world puts on you day to day. So a lot of you don't know, but I'm a social worker outside of my artistry, and social work is one of the best fields to work in if you like to give back to your community and if you like to kind of just help out and to be part of a pivotal point in people's lives and a huge change within people's lives, and to kind of just be there to be a support system for a lot of individuals. So working within the social service field, I would say, you you run into burnout every single day. You're taking on a lot of responsibility. You're hearing a lot of sad stories, and just a lot of heavy things that people go through, and it really draws awareness to the struggles that everybody goes through within their daily lives, and it really helps to bring about exposure to the fact that there's more to the world than the world that we revolve around. Meaning there's more to the world that happens, when even when we think that what we're going through is the biggest thing in life, you start to realize that what you're going through is not as bad as what somebody else is going through, and back and forth. And I learned that within my day-to-day, when I go home, I'm tired. I'm drained. I feel like I just need to rest, and I need to kind of just take that time to kind of incubate and to refresh and to renew myself. But then I have realized that I have a craft. I have something that I am building, something that I am, as I said, incubating, and something that I'm feeding every single day, and I'm trying to grow. And it's hard to not only cut out time for yourself and for your mental health, but also to understand that throughout all the stress and the pressure that life gives, you have to also create time and have time for your craft and for the things that you're working on in your passions. You have to keep your eyes focused on your end goal. And I find that burnout, it's always there in the back of my mind. It's like, okay, you can't handle your job, your 9 to 5, and then handle doing your craft. You need to cut out time for this. You just need to rest. Maybe you should do your craft another day. Maybe you should focus on something else. But it's like, no, you have to lock into that. The peace that I get is when I get to invest myself into something that is something that I've always dreamt about since I was small. It's something that I've materialized. I've materialized this, and I've manifested this essentially from my childhood to now. And this is something that when I do this, when I create music, when I make music, it brings me joy. It calms my spirit. It relieves me of kind of everything that I've been going through throughout the week within my job and just within life. And I get to transmute that into something that is created and released for the world to hear. And that is my therapy. And so, as I said, throughout all of this, I found that understanding that putting time and effort into your craft is not a job. That is not a something that you have to cut time out to. That's as I said, therapy. That is something that at the end of the day, when you cultivate that and you nourish that, you are going to see the results. When you put effort into something, especially when it comes to your dreams and when it comes to something that you just genuinely believe in and that you see and that you want to manifest, it's only going to come about and bring positive results for you. And so what I've learned also too about being authentic to who you are is to understand who you're meant to be. Understanding that you're more than your 9 to 5, understanding that when you punch out at the end of the day at your job, when you leave, you come home from school, when you're home from your friends, when you are, in your most intimate self, or with your most intimate self, by yourself, who are you? What makes you happy? What things can you do that make you happy? What things can you do that help you to express yourself in your truest self, and what makes you feel the most at home within yourself? And I found that understanding exactly that I am more. It helped me to realize and to stay motivated throughout these pressures, because sometimes I feel that spiritually, the universe can send things as blockages, especially when you lock onto your path and you lock onto what you're meant to do. The universe sends blockages and obstacles towards you that sometimes feel like it's taking all of your energy and all of your efforts from everything else that you're doing, and you have to focus on this thing. And then before you realize it, you're so withdrawn from your passions that you feel that you have to kind of put it on the side burner. No, during those times, you have to work even harder on your passions. You have to nourish those dreams, and you have to nourish those things even harder, because sometimes the enemy, the universe, can send things your way that you have to overcome. And you have to understand that there's distractions. Your plan and what you want to do within your life is bigger than this program. It's bigger than this job. And so you have to stay authentic to what you want to do and to who you see yourself becoming. When you close your eyes at the end of the day and you think about your life and you think about where you're at in life and you think about who you want to become and where you want to be, you have to think about that person and you have to work towards that person, because that person is waiting. That person who you're meant to be is waiting at the finish line, and you just got to meet them there. You have to stick to who you want to be, who you're meant to be, and who you're becoming. And you have to respect every process of that. And you can't allow the distractions that life throws you to throw you off your path that you're meant to walk on. Because if you allow that, you're going to get lost in the sauce, and before you know it, you're going to feel that your dreams are so far away that there's no point in even holding on. You might even feel that the universe maybe distracted you or pulled you off of that path because it wasn't meant for you. Maybe perhaps you decided not to continue going because you were afraid of continuing, or you were afraid of the work that you had to put in. And so you allowed yourself to focus on temporary things and things that didn't necessarily matter in terms of the grand scheme of your life. So just remember to stay true to who you are, stay focused on your goals, continue to put that work into what you want to do and in your crafts every single day, even despite the pressures that your 9-to-5 throws at you, despite what's going on within your life, despite the distractions that you may have. Understand your goals and understand where you want to be at the end of the day. When you close your eyes and you think about who you are in that moment, think about that person that makes you the most proud, that makes you the happiest, that person that when you look in the mirror, you said, I did that. I worked for that and I manifested that. I made that happen. I materialized a thought and I cultivated that and I nourished that and it grew and it came about. And now I'm reaping from what I sow. Understand that everything that happens in life, just in terms of what you're working towards, is all within your control. We can't control everything in life, but we can control what we do. So make sure the time that you're investing into yourself and into the universe is benefiting you and setting yourself up for success. So this is Rosé. This is Rosé Ramblez, and I will see you next time. See you later. God bless.